is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh my god. Sound good? Thank you guys very much for allowing me to have this time off. First of all, I have to say special thanks to a few people who in particular actually kept cheering when I wasn't even here. If you can believe it. Those individuals were Tantamounter, Golden Colts, Game Master 2003 is dead. Where is Boz 2161? Yes, all four of those people. Also Green Machine 223. So all five of those people actually cheered when I wasn't even here. Give their money, give their money. Then that's all I care about. I need that money. I really do. I need that money. Good job. Thanks for the money. You're stupid. That is awesome of you. Thank you very much for the support. Anything for this, right?
First of all, let's talk about what's going on currently with the Halloween Horror Marathon, okay? Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the Halloween Horror Marathon. First of all, in regards to the games to be played, right now, many horror-themed games are being nominated. Some of the top nominations right now are Friday the 13th, Call of Cthulhu, Night in the Woods, Shattered Hill, oh my god, Silent Hill Shattered Memories, and a few others are kind of the top nominations, but there will be a poll that will be formulated about a week before the marathon based on the nomination. So if you were a patron in the month of September and you have not nominated on horror games yet, you definitely should head over to the KingHate.com forums and nominate a game right away. Now, in addition, as of last night, I put up the poll by which patrons are now voting on the category of costume that I will be wearing for Halloween. Now, only a few people have voted. I actually looked at only like 20 people voted. But right now, overwhelmingly, people seem to want me to dress up as some kind of a video game character for Halloween. Now, I've seen a bunch of different fun Halloween costumes of video game characters that I could dress up as. I've seen, classic video game characters, more modern video game characters. I have a couple ideas of things that I could do for any category. Right now, certainly the voting is just started, so it's not that a video game character is definitely what I'm going to be for Halloween, because it just started, the voting, okay? So, if you are a patron, again, in the month of September, please head to the forums and vote on what category of Halloween costume you would like to see me wear during that marathon. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what people vote and how it turns out, okay?
Sound good? I want to start talking about this month's Patreon goal, all right? Because I certainly don't want to forget it and then, people don't think about pledging this month. Anything for this, right? This month's goal, I have not set it up yet. I have to set it up on the website. I may do so tonight. We'll see if I have time to do it. I got a frog in my throat today, by the way. Excuse me, everybody. I don't know what's going on with my throat. Stupid frog is stuck in there. I can't clear it properly. Devour. Anyway.
Yes, this month's current Patreon goal. Let's talk about that, because I have not set it up yet. It is the PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds goal. What does that mean? It means that if you pledge to my Patreon this month, and if we hit the funding goal this month, I will be doing a 7+ hour long marathon of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, alright?
So we'll see, folks. I hope we hit the funding goal. Right now, we're way under, but that's because, I was at time off, so obviously no one's going to be pledging to my Patreon when I'm at time off, away from streaming and everything, okay? So as of today, I'm going to start mentioning it daily. If you do choose to contribute today, I would ask this. This is pretty much the final day I have to ask this, okay? But if you do choose to contribute, I would ask if you could please tip me, because tips I get right away. And by the way, I'll be very honest with everybody. I barely had enough to afford Middle-earth Shadow of War. Now, what I mean by that is without racking up more debt, meaning not charging it to a credit card or whatever. I have been, for the past few months, spending all my tip money, basically, any money that I get from tips to buy the new games.
And I basically used all of it, buying up all the new games recently and paying for stuff. So I got it last night. I was like, wow, I really emptied the account there. So, any tips that you lend would help me out. It'll obviously allow me to get The Evil Within later this week without racking up more debt, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, okay? But the good news is, this week I get paid. Finally, this week I get paid for the awesome August performance that I had, both here on Twitch and also on YouTube.
So I don't really have to bring this up anymore after tomorrow when I get paid.
So, as of tomorrow, anything you want to do, whether it's cheering, subbing, or tipping, it's all equal to me. But I would say, as of today, if you could please tip me, I would appreciate it. It'll allow me to get The Evil Within later this week, okay? Shout out to Wharton, who cheered 55 bits. At that point, he had become the cheerleader for today's stream, and he said, Rick and Morty fans are started rioting and getting into fistfights over chicken nugget sauce at various McDonald's a few days ago. The police had to come and shut down several restaurants for the day. What is your take on the situation? Alright, I have two things to say, because I see two sides of the situation. Number one, if you're a huge fan of Rick and Morty, and McDonald's promises they're going to be bringing a sauce related to the show to their stores as a special promotional event for fans of Rick and Morty, you might get really excited and you might want to participate. Is it a big deal? No, but it's maybe something fun, especially if you had nothing to do that day. You want to go by your local McDonald's and try out this sauce, right? Sadly, there's a ridiculous amount of fans of Rick and Morty, and they all came at once. We had lines around certain McDonald's, for hour-long lines, to try to get this sauce. So, okay, it's a cool cultural event, whatever. It's fun. Sadly, what McDonald's failed to tell anybody was that there were only going to be 20 packets of this Szechuan sauce per store. They never disclosed this information, probably, honestly, because they knew if they did, no one would show up. Who would have showed up when they know there's only 20 packets? The first guy's going to get them, and that's it. So, basically, McDonald's was very dishonest about the whole thing, and it was basically a publicity stunt to try to get people to come to McDonald's. Problem was, it completely backfired, because so many people showed up for the sauce, and they had so little, that literally fights broke out, protests broke out. Now, I have something to say about this, folks. Okay, I do. Ladies and gentlemen.
If you're an adult, you need to learn how to pick your fights, and you need to learn how to be a mature adult about certain things.
If you, of your own volition, decided to go to a local fast food restaurant to get a special sauce because it has a tie-in with a cartoon show that you watch for entertainment purposes, ladies and gentlemen, this is not an important thing. It's not. It's not important. In the scheme of things, alright? It's not important. Ladies and gentlemen, on this planet, there are people who are starving. There are people who are freezing to death. There are people who have terrible diseases, alright? And are dying. These things are far fucking more important than Szechuan sauce, you dumb shits. Good God. What is up with these people who think that these stupid... Talk about privileged life, right? Talk about first world problems. You want to talk about first world problems? On the other side of the planet, there are people who every day when they get out of their homes, they gotta dodge fucking bullets, right? Because their countries are in political and civil unrest. Here, we have to riot because we can't get fucking chicken nugget sauce.
Unbelievable.
Unfucking believable. Seriously, like, oh my God. In life, you really need to pick your battles, folks. There are way more fucking important things in life than a fucking chicken nugget sauce. So if you were one of the people who lined up to get the sauce, okay. If you're one of the people that started a riot or protested because McDonald's didn't have the sauce,
you're a fucking idiot. Seriously, look in the mirror and reprioritize your life because you are a moron. Like, what the fuck? You should realize how privileged you fucking are if the biggest concern in your life you couldn't get Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce for your fucking chicken nuggets. Grow the fuck up. There you go. That's my opinion on the subject.
We're having a discussion in the stream chat about microtransactions in modern video games. The reason we're having this discussion is because this game that I'm about to play tonight as a special, release stream has a loot box microtransaction system in it. If you guys remember, the original Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor game had a grind factor to it at the end where there was several hours you had to kind of grind up your orcs or whatever to take over the certain parts of the map so that you could finally finish the game. So it's pretty much the same model as the original game from what I'm to understand. The only difference is now, if you want to skip that grind and you don't want to grind in the game, you can spend real money to buy boxes, and these boxes open up random orcs for your army, and they could be really high level or they could be shit. And apparently people are like, oh, it's pay to win because you could just pay to skip the entire grinding portion of the end of the game or whatever.
I'm not 100% against microtransactions.
Some people out there are. Some YouTubers and streamers or whatever hate microtransactions like a passion, and they don't fucking think they should exist anywhere ever, alright? I'm not 100% against them. Okay? I think that in certain cases they work well. I'll give you an example. Overwatch. The microtransaction system in Overwatch works really well, because the things you get from the microtransactions don't actually affect competitive gameplay at all, right? Instead, it's just, oh, I got a cool skin, right? Or something like that. I got a new color. I got a new emo. That's okay, but if you're gonna pay to win and you unlock, oh, I unlocked a fucking upgrade for my character in competitive multiplayer, so now my character is much better, that's not fair. I'm not against the microtransactions in Shadow of War. I'm not. Because the truth is, you know, some actual, you know, legitimate journalists who are assholes actually played the game and said, no, you know, all these reports that you can't beat the game if you don't spend money are not true. Basically, people who are saying that are just whiny idiots. You can still beat it, but there's a grind at the end of the game just like there was in the first game. Okay? So, in my opinion, the microtransactions in this game are not bad. When I play Middle-earth Shadow of War, I'm going to play the main game without spending any additional money. And at the end of the day, when I finish the game, I'll let you know my honest thoughts. Was it good, or was it too much of a grind, or whatever? I'm not going to factor in the fact that I could have paid extra money to beat it quickly.
Because I'm not a whiny baby. I'm a mature adult. This shocks me. You have to be brain dead fucking stupid to believe that. You have to be so dumb to believe this shit.
And shout out to Smart Weirdo, who did a 500-bit cheer, and he says, I don't understand why people are making a big deal about this. It's microtransactions in a single-player game. It only affects the buyer. It doesn't affect anyone else outside of the purchase. Well, Smart Weirdo, here's what really happened. The reason that people are making a big deal about it, alright, is because a certain gaming journalist, I will not name names, did a early review of the game and whined and complained and stamped their feet and cried all over fucking social media and the internet, stating the game was pay to win. That basically the end of the game is an impossible grind, because at the end of the game you need to amass an orc army in order to get to the final battle of the game. And they lied and said you cannot get the highest level of orc, the legendary orc, by just playing the game. You actually have to spend money on loot boxes no matter what, or else basically you have to sit there and grind and grind and grind for a good 15 to 20 repetitive hours in order to unlock the true ending of the game. And they lied. It was wrong, because people also had the game early and were playing it and were like, no, look, here's a screen capture. Here's a legendary orc I just got. And I didn't spend any money, so what are you talking about?
But the problem is when the wrong people become whiny babies on the internet because they don't like a certain practice and they turn it into their own fucking agenda, right? It's like their own crusade that they have to end a certain practice. They lie to try to get their agenda out there, and people believe them because people are sheep. People don't look into shit for themselves.
So the vast majority of people who've heard anything about this game have heard that it's terrible because it's pay to win. They didn't do any research themselves to actually find out if it was or not. They just believe the person who said it. And that's bad. That's really bad, folks, because that means people are just going to blindly believe what these idiots say. And thank you to JBeck35, who just tipped me $10 and said, loving these late night streams. Yes, and by the way, folks, this is the first of many late night streams that you're going to see coming up in the next 2 months. I'm going to make it a practice that since, hey, my schedule's open, I'm the master of my own destiny, right? I can do whatever I want. Any time there's a big new release coming out in the next 2 months, I'm going to do a late night stream to celebrate. As long as the game is releasing digitally at 9 p.m. my time, I will be doing a stream like this.
Oh my god, excuse me.
I used to do this all the time. You guys remember, when I used to live in Connecticut by myself, I did nighttime launch streams all the time. And I stopped doing it when I moved out here because, I mean, matter of fact, I was with my girlfriend at the time, right? And she basically did not like the fact that I would work super late. She wanted to have a schedule and everything, and, you know. So I kind of adjusted and said, you know what? You gotta make sacrifices when you live with someone, right? You gotta adapt and change to make sure that the situation's good for both parties, and I did. But now I'm single again, so we're back to action, back to how it used to be with these big, you know, these big releases.
Alright, enough of the stupidity of people in the street. He still called his ex-girlfriend his girlfriend. No, I didn't. I said my girlfriend at the time. You people really, really need to fucking grow up, because you try to turn every little thing that's said on a stream into drama, and I'm not like that, and I'm not going to put up with it. I'll tell you that right now. So for every idiot who's going to say something stupid, about my ex-girlfriend because I mentioned her briefly as a factual thing about why I stopped doing midnight releases, every one of you is gonna get fucking the boot. Okay? So grow up. I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. Alright, I'm not dead, but I swear to God I wish I fucking was.